Well, hello there. Welcome to another putting characters into D&D classes kind of video. If you can't tell by my luscious pink locks and lovely dress that you can't see the entire magic of, yeah, it is a very magical dress. Today I am putting Steven Universe characters into D&D classes. So of course, having a rose quartz dress and a rose quartz kind of wig, I had to kind of pink it up today to talk to you about how some of these characters can fit into D&D classes. I'm not going to cover every single Steven Universe character today because there are a lot of them and they all deserve their equal time. So I'm only going to cover some today. If you like this video, comment down below about who else you would like to see me sort into D&D classes. I have a lot of fun doing this and I would be happy to. I already have some ideas for some of the gems I did not fit into this video. We're going to start with the original crystal gem because, as you can see, we're all ready for her. Rose Quartz. So Rose Quartz would obviously be a cleric. She does have healing abilities from what we can tell by what happened with Steven, and also Lion, which is a major spoiler, so I will just leave it at that. But it would depend on what kind of cleric. Now she could easily be like a life domain cleric because she values human life and gem life to a very large degree, but she did rebel during a war, so I feel like a lot of her tactics for the time when she was really active were perfect for a war domain cleric. She would need to be able to act on a battlefield, know tactics, fight. While I do believe she is mainly centered around preserving life, that is taken care of by the idea of a cleric, and the war domain fits where she was during the main time of her existence that we know of. She is technically a war criminal after all. And she was also the leader of a rebellion and got other people to follow her along, so again, cleric, war domain, fits very, very well. And also, she looks freaking awesome while doing it, if I do say so myself. And then we have Steven. Now Steven could be a bard. He is very music centered, so you could kind of, I think, subclass him as a bard, but I actually put him as a life domain cleric for the pretty much exact opposite reason I put Rose as a war domain cleric. Steven is all about preserving life and making people happy and keeping people safe, and I feel like that really fits along with the life domain. Again, Steven's main powers are defensive and healing, so that fits very well with a cleric. And as a cleric who really doesn't want to fight and really just wants everyone to be happy and safe, I feel like it fits really well with that life domain life. And then we have Pearl. She could be a couple different things. I was debating about where to place her. Actually put her as a fighter battle master. I made her a battle master because she is all about precision. She wants to know how to fight. She wants to know all the correct moves, and when she teaches Connie, you see that even more. To me, that fits very well. And she also is about having this mastery of stuff outside of that, whether it's being a member of court or the way that she speaks, the way that she knows how to read, write. Being in essence a Pearl gives her a lot of other tactics, which also goes around with Battle Master, which can be a master of many things outside of battle as well. I would also take the feat of being a spear master, which I think comes from the Unearthed Arcana. But given that Pearl's main weapon of her gem weapon is a spear, I would take that so that she can have extra actions for each time she battles with a spear and does more damage for each hit that she makes with it. Fighter, Battle Master, Spear Master. That is a Pearl, our Pearl, in an essence. Amethyst was actually really difficult for me to think of for a while until I opened my mind and saw what was right in front of me. Amethyst would be a druid, and she would be of the circle of the moon. Let me tell you why. Aside from the fact that she literally comes from Earth, while all the gems come from Earth, Amethyst really does have a connection to Earth, which does fit in with the druids. And her main thing is a whip, and Thorn Whip is a very low level, easy to use thing for a druid to have, so right away she would have her main weapon. And then of course you get Beast Shape, which is exactly what Amethyst does. She is a shapeshifter, so anything that can lead you to a beast-shaped polymorph sort of line is perfect. And druids get beast shape really early on, and they can learn more beast shapes as they go. So you start to not have that limitation of only being able to change into a few things and get the more amethyst-like thing of being able to transform into whatever she darn well pleases. Which is also why I chose the Circle of the Moon, as they are much closer to the animals and much closer to like nature and the idea of living your life that way. So Amethyst, who spends so much of her time being one creature to the next, would fit in very well with being a druid that is very focused on shape-shifting. The Moon Circle gives you more shapes. Bingo, bongo. Perfect. Garnet. Now, Garnet was very difficult for me to try to put into a category, so I did end up multi-classing her. And whether or not you hate multi-classing, it was the only way I could really get her to fit what I needed her to have. Because Garnet, being a fusion of more than one gem, has more than one kind of thing that come in, so you kind of have to take in both the ruby and the sapphire that makes her up to fully make her who she is. She's a fusion, so she's a multi-class. Garnet is a fusion. The closest you get to fusion in D&D is a multi-class. So the way I set her up was to be a monk who took the path of tranquility, unearthed arcana again, and a mystic who took the path of the awakened. Here's why. Garnet is a lot about being centered. She is a warrior, but her main goal in life is to live peacefully as herself, themselves. However, she would prefer to say it, the way of tranquility is all about having violence be a last resort and wanting to find a way of peace and zen, I guess you could say. And if anyone is the epitome of being centered, it's Garnet, because that is literally what her existence is. Plus, monks have a very good unarmed sort of thing, and while Garnet does have her gloves, she is mainly unarmed combat, being a fighter. But the fighter didn't really fit with her, so I thought a monk gives her that kind of fighting style while also giving her that sense of self. And now for the mystics. Now the mystics is what kind of brings in that sapphire, because a big part of Garnet is her future vision. She does have a third eye. The Mystic Order of the Awakened is made to unlock all of the mysteries of the mind, which, you know, you're enlightened. That goes a lot with different kind of psychic abilities, which is as close to the plain old future vision that we can get in D&D. The more you level up the mystic, the more that you get that actual use of future vision. Because at level 3 you can hold objects and kind of get an impression of what happened with them. So the more you develop the mystic side, the more you're actually going to get that idea of future vision. There's not a lot of like actual psychics or clairvoyance in D&D. The closest that you would get otherwise would be to have something that could give you the spell slots for things like clairvoyance or foresight, that sort of thing. But those come only very high levels, and Mystic is kind of the closest we can get at a lower level just to start off with. So you could multi-class in a different way, or start doing the Mystic and maybe even add another class to give you those other spells. But I feel like these two do fit pretty well to give you a base for Garnet. Lastly, because I had just ideas for them, we're going to talk about the two humans in our midst. So, Greg. Greg is a bard. If you think Greg is anything else but a bard, you are just kidding yourself, because he is literally a musician who has wooed everybody with his words. That's how he got Rose. You know, he drove his van into her heart, and there she stayed till like the inevitable happened, which is really sad. I would make him a bard of valor, because that lets him tell stories. He tells his own stories. He tells the stories of the gems. The valor is basically the storytelling bard, okay? It fits really well. Then he would get some magic. I think you could probably work up your way to try to get the kind of guitar attack that he has in the Steven Universe game. I just love the idea of Greg as a bard, and having powers that way. And I think Valor just fits him to a T more than any of the other ones. So, Greg, you make an excellent bard, sir. Our final one for today is Connie, because you cannot do the main cast without talking about Connie. Connie is amazing, and as a human who has no magic, I felt like it was a really good way to incorporate just a plain fighter in the group. But tried to decide between having her be a knight or a champion, because knight kind of goes along with the things that she said when she was training with Pearl. So there is that thing, but she's not a steed knight, though she does ride lion. Connie could go either way. I say either a champion, because it's all about strength and getting your tactics up and the hard hits, which is what Connie needs to do as the only human to keep up with the gems. But I also think that a knight who is devoted to a cause and all about protecting others, which is a big thing of what Connie does, especially when it comes to Steven and her family, I think a knight would also really work. And if she needs a noble steed, you know, we do have Lion. She can definitely ride atop Lion as she fights. They've done that before. Yeah, I didn't actually think of that until right now. Connie as a knight who battles atop Lion just is amazing. I want all of the pictures of that. That would be so cool. I really hope that we actually get Connie more involved in this, but yes, Connie is a fighter, a knight who has that loyalty to her cause, which is protecting the earth and protecting Steven, though not to the detriment of her own health, as like in that song, because no, but that is actually a big part of her personality, and she has a noble steed in Lion. Thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please, if you love Steven Universe and you love D&D, please tell me if you think that some of these classes would be better suited somewhere else. Do you think that these characters would fit in better with a different class? Do you think that they need some feats to kind of really make them hit that level of where they are at on the show? Also tell me, are there any other characters you would like me to see from Steven Universe or anywhere else ever put into D&D classes? Tell me in the comments below, and I definitely want to make another of these because I had an epiphany with Peridot just a little bit ago and I want to talk about it. Subscribe. I will see you next time, and check out some of my other videos. I have another one sorting the Hamilton characters into D&D classes. I highly recommend that. I also have a makeup tutorial for the Here Comes the Thought song. If you want to hear about that and about some thinky thoughts, I will leave links for that around here. See you next time. Bye!